The Bharatiya Janata Party suffered a massive setback in the Lok Sabha Bypoll in Uttar Pradesh, conceding the seat to the opposition in Kairana. The Rashtriya Lok Dal candidate Tabassum Hassan, who had the backing of the Congress, the Samajwadi Party and the BSP, trounced BJP's Mriganka Singh. The BJP had fielded Singh after the death of her father, Hukum Singh, who, remember, was a sitting Lok Sabha member of parliament. Now, the Samajwadi Party, meanwhile, wrested the Nurpur assembly seat from the BJP in Maharashtra. The BJP managed to retain Palghar, yes. BJP's Gavit Dhedya beat Shiv Sena's Srinivas Vanaga by almost 30,000 votes. Interestingly, Vanaga's father, Chintaman Vanaga, whose death necessitated by bypoll, was a BJP MP. Now, how exactly will the Lok Sabha bypoll results impact the Dalal Street, and what is the market impact that we can be prepared for? Latha Venkatesh is here to discuss this, and she has a special guest with her. Latha, over to you.
Well, thanks a lot. Important to know that during market hours, we were aware that Kairana had been lost, and that's a prestigious seat. It seemed to give the impression that a united opposition can give the BJP a tough time, because their SP, BSP and Congress are united. As well, you would say that the Bhandara Gondia constituency also is important, because the NCP has wrested that seat from BJP. So basically, of course, they won Palghar. So it's a 33% victory. The fourth seat they didn't contest. It is being contested in Nagaland by their allies. So basically, it is a 33% victory in the Lok Sabha bypolls. Let's start over there. We are being joined by a guest, Ajay Srivastava of Dimensions Consulting is with us. Good evening, Ajay, and thank you very much indeed for joining us. The markets didn't react today, so should we assume that the markets will consider bypolls one-off and not a trend, and therefore not bother with it tomorrow?
I think so, Latha. Not only bypolls, I think market is also getting to realize that the shifting of electoral fortunes has a very limited impact in the longer term on the equity markets. We are more impacted by oil, what's happening in the global market, what's happening to the credit squeeze in the abroad, than just the fact that party A or party B is going to be in the power in the next 5 years. I think we've all seen that the fact that there is no now proof, and that's, I think, by and large universal, that a single mandate has given a great impetus on the economic side or the financial side. They had the misadventure, they have some good thing like GST, you had a bad thing like Demon. So there is no, now very, very clearly, there is no evidence that a single large mandate is a prerequisite for a startling economic performance of the economy. I think market has settled down, business settled down to say, we need to go with the flow, we need to go where the people are buying, which is how you saw the rally today. In spite of all the results, you saw the technical issue of HDFC Bank playing out, you saw the private bank playing out. So I think by and large, investors and market are now getting to be more stable to say, political fortune makes some difference, but not such a difference to change your view about a country as a whole.
It was during election times, election days. Remember, May 16th, 2004, 10% down circuit. May 16, 2009, 10% upper circuit. May 16, 2014, 10% upper circuit. So it's a little difficult, at least in the shorter term. Politics has a binary impact on markets. So, I mean, I want to put this to you again. Just a word. I mean, the core sector numbers are coming in, and they are looking like the April numbers were as sad as the March numbers. Not a very good number to go with, 4.7%. Anyway, we will come to that in a minute. But Ajay, while perhaps with a 335 majority along with allies, you may say that it was not a big push to the economy. My own point would be that at least no great harm comes. If it is a Khichdi government, it might unsettle a lot of people with investment plans. So therefore, if already Gorakhpur was lost in Uttar Pradesh, contrast this with the sweep that the party had in the state elections. After that, to lose a prestigious seat like Gorakhpur and then Kairana seems to indicate that the huge wind which the BJP enjoyed is now turning into not much much more than a breeze. Therefore, I want to pose that question to you again. If there is a lack of a majority in
I'll tell you.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
I'll tell you, Lata, what is holding, is just arithmetically to say convenient that three parties got together and beat. But it is also the economy. It is also the people who have decided to vote fully knowing that there are three disparate parties on one side and there is one opposition, a ruling party on the other side. Why are people voting this way? There is an economic issue which is affecting the economy. Let's not forget it that people were affected by demonetization. People were get affected by what's happening today with the oil prices. If the jobs don't come around, if the things don't move out in the way people want it. And certainly there is a big gap between North and South. South, I don't think there's so many bigger issues as North has in terms of economy. This economy of North was pulverized in the demonetization because it had got handicraft, it had got leather industry, it had got small scale iron and steel. North got a bigger hit. So it is just, just to say people are voting on caste lines and three parties together, I don't think that's what's happening. I think what's happening is, as a very old adage says, it's the economy is stupid and people are voting based upon what they each feel about the economic situation is.
Yeah, fair point. Although the UP state elections happened after demo, and in spite of it, there was this huge pro-Narendra Modi, pro-BJP, blaze. It's quite clearly not working at this point in time. Therefore, do you think that in the run-up, now suppose in the state elections, we were to continue to get the same impact, that small industries have been affected, there is still widespread poverty in more than poverty, unemployment in the countryside. If this message were to get reinforced in Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh, do you think the markets will take cognizance of that?
See, market has very well settled itself. Market has settled itself to a high cost inflationary environment where you see the large caps are gaining ground, the small and the mid cap are struggling. There's nothing new last 3 months. And and I think let's also understand where the government is today. The government has today come out very clearly to say there is no scoom, there is no room to get the petrol prices down because you have fiscal problem. What's a fiscal problem? Problem is not development expenditure. Problem is that the government very early in its inception gave away large sums of money for pay commission and also for OROP and defense. Now, defense staff use the nationalism jingoistic narrative very cleverly to get themselves a fantastic deal. There is no money for arms, there's no money for anything because pension bill and salary bill, if you look at the national income statistics and expenditure, Lata, if you look at the budget, that's eating up almost 60% of the government revenue today, plus interest put together, nothing is left for development. So the narrative is that you gave away a lot of money based upon whatever you thought was salaries and this thing, and today there is nothing left to give out to people when they want it. So I think it will continue, and I think it's good that we have a balanced political structure in the system which puts accountability at the end of the people who rule up rather than having a clear mandate that nothing will happen to us. I think it's a very healthy situation, and win and lose takes place all the time. But I think the healthiness is that there is accountability settling into the system, that you got to be accountable for the results. And I think it's a great thing for democracy that if we can hold our politicians accountable, I think we achieved a great thing.
Okay.